All right, you guys, let's talk about something. I didn't get a chance to put this news out, but I'll put it out now. At the end of the day, like I told you guys, when it comes to doing this reported thing, no bias, no horse in the race, no caping for nobody. And it's just gotta be said, man. Gotta keep it 100 at all times. So, that's what I do, and that's what I'm gonna continue to do. Now, there seem to be a lot of speculation on what's going on with what happened with Andy Ruiz last week and his rematch, his highly anticipated rematch with Anthony Joshua. Where to me the fight just turned out to be a dud because at the end of the day, really nothing didn't happen in the fight. It was pretty much a one-sided fight. Anthony Joshua pretty much dominated Ruiz. But here's the catch to the situation. What happened with Ruiz? I talked to some people. You got to understand. Unlike some people, that's not actually going to fights. They think they know everything and they think they can just sit up here and just speculate what's going on. But like I told you, I talk to people when the cameras is on and when the cameras are off. So I do on-camera interviews, off-camera interviews. If I do an off-camera interview and the people say, "Hey, I want to remain nameless," that's fine. I gotta respect that because at the end of the day, they watch your outlets and they want to see, can they trust you. And if you basically name their names, when something come your way, they ain't gonna talk to you because there's certain things that can be said on camera. There's certain things that can't be said on camera because at the end of the day, boxing is full of politics. Always have been, always will be. Just like for these idiots that want to play these games like there ain't no racial perspective, no racial element when it comes to biasness, and when it comes to how certain fighters are perceived and certain you know breaks they get when it comes to boxing. Okay, you know we all know there's certain perks when you look a certain way. And it's always going to be double standards, and it's always going to be a racial element in boxing, no matter how much people try to pretend it doesn't exist. But let's talk about this situation with Andy Ruiz. Everybody was scratching their head, puzzled at Andy Ruiz's performance, where he just basically just came in there and got beat. He fooled everybody that like he was training. Well, here's the thing. People are reporting that Andy Ruiz didn't train at all for that fight. And based off the fact he came in at 283 pounds, shows that he didn't train for that fight. He didn't take that fight seriously. He basically just came there to give up his belts and just go home. He basically got paid $12 million to just basically just not train, not show up. Because let me tell you something. Second loss with Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua's mental psyche pretty much is in the toilet. So you draw your own conclusion what I'm trying to say about that fight. I'm gonna make a lot of enemies, and I know a lot of people ain't gonna like me, but that's fine. That's who I am, and that's who I will be, and I'm gonna keep it 100. A lot of people just know what Andy Ruiz did, and I think it was disgraceful that Andy Ruiz showed up looking like the Mexican Blob. He disgraced a lot of people. A lot of people was counting on him to at least make an effort of it. If he would have actually trained and fought his ass off and then, hey, got knocked out trying to knock Anthony Joshua out, I think a lot of people would respect him. But due to the fact he came in at 283 pounds, we already knew what was going to happen. Andy Ruiz let a lot of people down. People saved their money, worked overtime to tally up the money to come to Saudi Arabia and see him. And then you had people that, ordered the zone possibly. We don't know what the numbers was, but you had people that was excited about this fight, a certain demographic, and they had the right to be because this was something that hadn't been done before. You had the first ever Mexican heavyweight champion, and basically he just was a one-hit wonder. And now he trying to play the role like I'm gonna prove my haters wrong. How are we hating on you when you hated on yourself, when you didn't love yourself enough to take your ass and train and properly train? and be prepared for this fight. So how are we hating on you when you basically hated on yourself? At the end of the day, we know what happened. Like I said, the negotiations went every way, shape, and form in Eddie Hearn's way. Had to fight in Saudi Arabia, had to fight under, some very questionable circumstances surrounding Saudi Arabia with their practices, to say the least. But for him to just go in there at 283 pounds and then just basically just not even show up, that's just disgraceful. Andy Ruiz deserves every bit of criticism that he's getting. So I don't want to hear this shit that people hating on him and all that type of stuff. How are we hating on him? For real. That word hate is used a little too much for my taste. It's the difference between criticizing somebody and then hating on somebody. Nobody ain't hating on somebody that basically didn't do what he was supposed to do. That was his job, to train and come to that fight and perform and put on the show for the people that was rooting for him. And he let everybody down. He let his father down. He let his family down. This man was sitting up here partying. This man wasn't watching his eating habits. He didn't even, it's almost like he didn't give a damn. But then he talking about all this shit about, how he didn't like this dude and how he was treated when he was with another promotional company. But then he get his big break, and then he don't show up. So it is what it is, man. That's all I got to say. I'm out.